Barak, Shalom, everyone. It's Out the Box Kingdom. Talk with me, Out the Box Kingdom. I hope you all are having a wonderful yum. I just wanted to come on here right quick because I remember yesterday I gave a word in regards to the word vacation and vacay, right? And I said way back in a Bible study back in October, it was actually October the 10th, 2025. Y'all had given me a word in regards to vacation and vacay. And I just gave a brief summary of it, but today I want to give what the Ruach was saying and really want y'all to pay attention to what the Ruach was saying. So this is what I ended up scribing into my notebook. Okay, so October the 10th, 2025, during the past couple of yomens, which is days if you don't know, I have been receiving junk mail emails from an insurance called Endurance. I pay attention to names and how many times something occurs because Abba Yahuah does these things to get us to pay attention to what the Barak is saying. The word endurance comes from the Latin verb dure, meaning to harden or to last, combined with the suffix once, which denotes a state or quality. The Latin root word of endurance is to harden, to hold out, to make last. However, when it comes to Paleo Hebrew, right, not modern day Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew meaning to endurance is the word sabal, which is to bear, to carry, or to suffer. We know the scriptures, Abba Yahuah 24:13, but he who shall have endured to the end shall be delivered. And we know that Yeshua actually means deliverance, right? But we know Yahushua's name is, he's our deliverer, right? So y'all wanted me to ask you, his children, yes, you, how much are you willing to endure for Yah? How much are you willing to endure for Yah? And the reason why I believe he asked this question, because it don't matter how many times you wrap your hair, you put fringes on, you wear the tzatzit at the four corners of your shirts. It's not about the outside appearance, it's in the inside. And if you're not spending time with the Most High Yahuah, getting off of social media, but allowing yourself to be consumed to the things of this world, the things, or should I say, when a furnace is being turned up even more, you're going to have some people that's going to jump ship. Yahushua went through that same thing. He had to ask to tell them, you going to leave me too? And they said, we've done forsaken everything to follow you. Are you going to be the ones when he said, come follow me, you're going to follow him and give him your all in all? Or are you just one of them people that's along for the ride, but then when things get hard, when things ain't what you thought they was going to come, are you going to jump ship and go back to your old ways? And this is why this question is being asked. Yah already knows who those people are that's willing to endure to the end, that's willing to die for his name's sake. And then he knows those that's pretenders. You know what I'm saying? You might as well say Judas was a pretender. He was in there. He was along for it because he saw how people wanted to give. He was there for when the wonder signs and miracle was taking place. But when the whole wording of Yahushua conquering did not come out in his perception, then he was like, all right, I feel like he's a hypocrite. How much y'all willing to pay me for him? And it still ended up backfiring on him. Because if you have not read the other books, in regards to, I believe it's the book of Thomas, it's one of them, Bartholomew or something, where Yahushua gave, it was Herodes, Pontius Pilate, and Judas that was in hell. And Yahushua gave Judas a strong rebuke and said, just like them 30 shekels you paid for my life, 30 serpents gonna tear you up for the rest of your life. As he was gathering up the Dawood and them and Adam. It's in there. You got to read that for yourself. But anyway, so once again, how much are you willing to endure for Yah? And in order to endure in these last days or last moments, you got to be spiritually stable. Because like they said, a double-minded man is unstable. You can sit here and say you all for Yah, like I said, with your words. You got people in Christianity that claim that they love the Most High, but with their lips, but their heart is far from them. They're chasing after the so-called promise, and they want the abundance, but they don't want to endure what it's going to take to get to the promised land. So he can say you're worthy enough to come into the promised land, or should I say the new Jerusalem, right? But they want an easy access pass to what he has, because Satan has given this illusion that that's what it is. Just love one another and just accept people for who they are. But it's totally against, love our neighbor as we love ourselves, but we also supposed to stay with the commandments and laws of Yah and what he says. So anyway, so back to after that question that Yah had me to ask the people. I don't think a lot of you know this, but there's about to be several testings of endurance that's getting ready to take place. October was just a month of getting your toes wet, but it's about to be intensified. Now, if you didn't know, for those people that served in the military, and basic training, or when I was in, which was back in 2007, there was different phases of testing or training in regards to before you got to your actual job. There was the red phase, where they're completely tearing you down, getting you out of that civilian mindset, right? That means they consistently, what they call the shark attack, or smoking you, which is exercising you back to life, right? Now you hate it, but you realize in the long run, it was to build up your endurance for the next phase that you were coming into, and then the next phase and the following phase, right? You think it was to really tear you down, but it was actually equipping your body to be able to endure for the strenuous training that you was going to have to go through, especially when you go to your unit, because that's when things really start getting serious, because you're officially at your assigned duty station. Basic training is just like they said, the basics, the foundations to get you prepared for when you're getting ready to go to your next duty station, and to prepare you for when you're really going out in that field, in that battlefield. But if you don't take it serious, some people got sent back home and some people got recycled, which means you had to start over and wait for the next phase of people to come for you to start your training. So you'll be in a holding place until the next recruits come in. And depending on how many times you got recycled, they sent you home or you passed. Or you can just have that mindset, I don't want to go through this testing. I only want to do this one time. So you're going to do whatever it takes and endure the pain, the uncomfortabilities, the late night hours of being up when you got to be on watch guard to make sure ain't no enemies coming in your camp. Yeah, the military is almost similar to how Yah trains us as watchmen and gatekeepers. Not the gatekeepers of the adversary, but the gatekeepers and watchmen of Yah. All right. So like I said, there's getting ready to be several testings of your heart posture, your mindset, and your trust in Yah. And it's going to be intensified. He's got to... Haliel can only do what Yah allows him to do. So there has to be a refining. You can't call yourself saying you're going to be there for Yah if you have not gone through the process of refining. Every prophet has gone through it. Every person that was called to be a judge, everyone has gone through a testing through scripture. Okay? So I just want you to get that in your mind. There's no escaping it whatsoever. So, like I said, I don't think a lot of you know this, but there is about to be several testings of endurance. October was just a month of getting your toes wet, but it's about to be intensified. Especially, I'm going to tell y'all this, in your area of discernment. Are you really awake, or are you still sleeping thinking you're awake? That's going to be tested. Okay? And there is going to be a lot of shaking that's going to take place. If people don't move when he tells them to move, they will get caught up in the shaking, or should I say tornado, tsunami, and they're not going to even see it coming. Right? So now what's going on in the airports is a warning, or part of the judgments of Yah. Right? The cruise ships, once again, is part of the agenda. People are going to be thinking it's just a cruise ship experience, and they are going to be shipped somewhere they don't even know. Their family members are not going to have a clue what has happened to them. And I wouldn't be surprised, because a lot of these cruise ships, believe it or not, got pagan deity god names. A lot of them do. They like to paint it as it is a royal or a party experience, but really is a delusion, because the whole time you own there, they're cooking your food, right? You got certain levels. It's like a movable prison. Some people have the ocean view, and some people are inside of the boat, right? And so, and it's, they paint it as, oh, we're going here. But you need to be careful what may be painted as something innocent, and it's not. It's not as what it seems, but it's too late then, because you're not even on your familiar grounds. You're on foreign territory now. And every place has their rules and everything. So if you mess around and forget your passport and ID and you ain't got no money, how you gonna get home? The cruise ship ain't coming back for you. It's gonna keep going on with this voyage. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So the family members are not going to have a clue what has happened, right? Vacation, I hear the word vacancy, but it's a hidden word within vacation, right? So when Yah says move, you move, but you must endure. It's not going to make sense at times when he begins to speak to you, right? For instance, I'm going to give a prime example. You may be in a place and Yah getting ready to tell you such and such, or a family member of yours that you have been trying to tell, you say such and such in blah, blah, blah days. But he tells you can't say anything. Why? Because that person has been warned multiple times. And you either reaping the seeds you've sown, or the fruit you've sown, the seeds you've sown, and you reap the fruits of your harvest, as in the judgment or the rewards. And unfortunately, because people have itchy ears and they're stiff-necked generation of people, they're not going to understand, or, well, you knew that, why didn't you warn me, or something like that? But they have been warned. Now, as I read more into the scriptures, Yah sends messengers. He sends people. He speaks to you in dreams when something is current. So it's not like you don't know. You know, or let's just say they know. They just choose not to listen because it's not something they want to hear. Right? And so, but when he gives this word, something I want us to keep in mind as his children. When Yah gives a word, it shall surely come to pass, and you cannot change it. It don't matter how many times you try to fast to change the outcome. If Yah says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And a prime example the Barak wants me to give is Dawood's situation with his son that he made with Beersheba. Yah sent the prophet and told him that the son was going to die. And even though Dawood went in there in prayer and fasted, the child still died. When they came and gave him the news, that Dawood got up, he honored the Most High, and then he ate. You know what I'm saying? But then there are situations like Hezekiah that even though the prophet came in there and told him, hey, Hezekiah, the Most High say you're going to die. But when Hezekiah turned back and began to repent on the behalf of him and the people, Yah said, because he repented and turned back to him, he told the prophet, hey, go and tell Hezekiah I've added 15 more years onto his life. That I'm going to heal him from his afflictions. And that's what Yah did. But once again, Yah gets to say so. He's the ultimate judge and a decision maker. It's not based on us, how many days we fast or so forth. If he said that something's going to happen, or when he says, I'm not going to say if, when he says something is going to happen, it's going to happen, whether you like it or not. Simple as that. But however, just like these wicked elite people, just like these celebrities, they've been warned several times, but they choose to ignore it because they want that fame. They want the illusion that Satan has given them. They want that star on the walk of fame. People walking on people's stars. Why would you want your... Anyway, let's keep going. So we are coming in a time that Yah is also positioning his children to see the things with their eyes that have not been seen and that are not written in scripture, right? We have to remember there are things that has been taken out, rewritten, or even hidden by the Most High, by his messengers, who he commanded them. And this is actually in the book of Maccabees, where Yah had sent his messengers because he was not going to allow the enemies to boast about them conquering and taking the things of the children of Yisrael. So Yah commanded his messengers to go in the actual temple, the temple of, I'm going to say Kodesh of Kodeshes, and take the Ark of the Covenant, all those things, and command the alets to open its mouth and to hide it into an appointed time, right? And because he didn't want those with contaminated hands to get access to it. Only those with Kodesh hands will be able to touch these things. When that appointed time comes and Abba has the alets to begin to push up the things that belongs to his children. And so go back and read Maccabees. It's in First Maccabeum. First Maccabeum is amazing because it actually gives the explanation. It does say that they was going to take the images and make it, the enemies was going to take the images and make it, whitewash them as to look like their appearance. It's in there. So anyway, so what I'm saying is we're coming in the time those that have ears to hear and eyes to see, and in a position of receiving what the Barak is saying, that they are going to be the ones that's going to receive those hidden gems, the things that is not even written. Because let me tell you something, there's more to all these books. There's more to all these books than what we're reading or what we see that we're reading. And just like they thought they could burn those, like I was saying, just like they thought they could burn up the things, for instance, when Jeremiah had him writing to the king, and the king, Jeremiah had presented the word to the king, and the king sat there and threw it all in the fire. But what did Yah do? Told Jeremiah who to write it again. And he's like, what? But this time, Jeremiah who didn't have to write it. He actually found a scribe to scribe every word that he was saying, but it came back to the recollection. So that's why I love Yah. Man can try to rewrite, tear up, destroy, try to kill, steal, and destroy like Satan, but it's not going to prevail because Yah is going to have so many scribes writing things, writing the mysteries of his word. Right when they think they're going to destroy it, someone already done written it again. It's going to be like several copies of it, and it's already going to be already published out there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Yah, if he hasn't, and a lot of you has already placed in your heart to have your own publishing company and stop going through Amazon and all these other places, right? I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you, Yah has told y'all not to just be writing in y'all notebooks, but get y'all a typewriter. You know what I'm saying? Where we're not depending on electronics, because they can still go in and erase things. You know what I'm saying? Why you think they have it in Google Cloud? They still have access to this thing. This is part of their network. Everything that I'm even recording right now. You know what I'm saying? You see how they're turning AI to look so real. And if you ain't got discernment, you would think that's a real real life event that's going on, and it's not. It's AI, right? And so on that note, do not be surprised that Yah have you in such a consecrated place, because, or should I say a place of solitude, because it's not just a great awakening, there's a great revealing to take place, and you got to be able to bear and carry. Some of you is been in a place like Jeremiah, who y'all been weeping, y'all been mourning, y'all been feeling like y'all need to put sackcloth on, because Yah has shown y'all some terrible things that's going to come. And it says even in scriptures in Barak that there's going to be many more deaths. Unfortunately, you know, the young men that's been going in these football, there's more melanated men for some reason, a lot more football players dying. It's like almost every week now we done seen a melanated man in the football league passing away, because it's all about that insurance policy. It's nothing but a slave trade anyway. You know, I'm there to entertain, to amuse. But let's get real here. They get insurance or a payout when there's an injury done. It ain't them on the field. You're the cattle. Why is it that almost every team is of a pagan deity or of an animal? You know what I'm saying? And yet people be cheering out. People be plugging into that channel. You know what I'm saying? Y'all still enlisting y'all children in the NBA and NFL. And if it ain't that, it's the music industry. Because y'all think somebody's going to pay y'all way out of y'all bondage, when the word clearly says that no man will buy your freedom. So my thing is, it's very sad that people that's still in the world thinking that fame, they're, you know, pressuring their child. Oh, you got all this talent. Maybe that's our way out the hood or something. And no, your oppressors ain't going to even buy you out of slavery. You know what I'm saying? Because this is part of the curse until the children turn back to Yah. And things are going to be very terrible before. I'm telling you, so bad that it's going to be like people going to feel like they have no willingness to live. And then that's when Yahushua going to come back. But you got to be able to endure. Those that really have turned back to Yah and say, forget that world and its system. Because if y'all go read Melchizedek, you will see that was Satan's plan. He had this idea that there could be a balance between Tabal, which is the word good in Hebrew, that there could be a balance between the two. And he became fascinated with that endless pit. And even though Yah said it's not that important, he still gravitated towards it. And the time came when Yah gave him a free will. And he chose that. He chose to rebel against the Most High. And it grieved the Most High. He said, no longer can I call you my children. You know, so then Yah created this world. And Satan, just arrogant, thought that Yah was going to give him his throne. And then he thought, oh, well, we're going to get that world too. But see, Yah had created man in his like image to have dominion as a reflection of the Shemians down into the Arets. But Satan, being a jealous being that he is, wanted that too, just selfishness and greed. And we see this in a certain race of people. It's in their DNA. They can't help it. They're never satisfied, no matter what the cost is. You know? But they must paint the illusion. But you must come out of the smoke and mirrors. You got to come out of that, what is called the fun phase, maze, the rat maze, and decide to come out of that. Like they like to say, the rat race. And cleave on to the Most High Yahuah. And understand the purpose of his son Yahusha. So, if Yah is telling you to get off the social media and take a break from your business, you know what I'm saying? Take a break from your business to spend time with him. You know, this is definitely a time of preparation, but in December, if y'all haven't, look up the book. It's called the Biblical Almanac. I can't think of it. It's by Talia D. Dublin, and I forgot. It's a collaboration book. Can't think of his name right now. But it's called the Biblical Almanac. And we're coming in that season of resting in Yah. So if you've been feeling like you've been slowing down, why don't I have enough energy? It may not be because you're vitamin deficient. Yah is just slowing you down because he needs your undivided attention. So on that note, that's all I have to say. Sorry for, my lens going too bright and then you see me going dark because the sunlight is going in and out behind the clouds and things like that. So, but anyway, I hope this message has baruched you today, that you really heard what the Barak was saying today, that you cleave and hear to the warning that was given, but to prepare yourself, embrace yourself. Like I said, vacation is not vacation anymore, and this is not the time to be taking random vacations because you want to. If your family wants to do it because they don't understand, they keep probably going to tell you you're too suspicious and you're too paranoid. Just let them call you whatever they want to call you because they don't understand. They lean on their own understanding. Because we're definitely in the months. October, December, November, December, January, which is Jamboree's, February. They skip March and then you go into Easter. These are all their pagan months. So they need all the sacrifices they can get. All the sacrifices they can get. That's why I said, the whole thing with, I'm going to give a prime example. D'Angelo. Now, I haven't talked about it, but it's interesting that back in 2014, he came out with the album Black Messiah. And believe it or not, I was in the world, but Yah was dealing with me around that time. And the first song was about him exposing what the true Mashiach looked like, not what we've been indoctrinated to believe. So D'Angelo, or should I say Michael Archer, was what they call a conspiracy theorist. So he was very awakened. So when they say he died of what he died of, I knew it was a lie. It's interesting that his tour was called the Second Coming tour of the black, and it was his Black Mashiach album, but he was coming up with another album that was going to spread a lot more truth, or should I say more light. They could not afford that, so they more likely gave a jab and finished him off. Now, wherever that album is, somebody got dirty hands, got access to it, and they probably done deleted it or trying to destroy it. And it's interesting that all of a sudden, all his so-called friends are coming forth doing concerts now. Erykah Badu, Questlove, all of them. Were they really his friends, or were they the Judases ready to cash in? And they had to kill the Black Mashiach. So, on that note, I'm going to leave that there. But they can't kill the Black Mashiach because he's still coming back anyway. They thought he did, and then they try to pay off and say that his Talman took him somewhere else. But anyway, what is done in the light, what's done in the dark will come to light. They can't hide it. And it's going to come like the increase in knowledge going to come in like a flood and like lightning speed. There's definitely a war going on in the spirit realm because it was thundering last night, but it didn't rain. So on that note, y'all be Baruch, y'all. Stay in this word. Stay in Palau, which is prayer at all times. Stay on y'all faces, but get in this word and eat this and chew up this meat. Stop trying to take or receive watered down stuff, or you still want to be on baby milk. There's no time to be compromising. Y'all need to get in this meat and chew up this meat and let it digest, and then go on to the next thing. Don't try to cram everything at once, because guess what? Everything is not going to happen overnight. It's impossible. All things is possible with Yah, but what you try to make happen in supernatural and speed, it's going to still happen in Yah hour's time. You just going to wear yourself out and burn yourself out and get compassion fatigue. So on that note, y'all be Baruch as always. Enjoy your Sabbath Yom, which is tomorrow. And as for me, I see y'all next time on Out the Box Kingdom. Talk with me, Out the Box Kingdom. Barak, Shalom.